All right, Gator fans, we turn the calendar to the month of August, and with that comes soccer season. Happy to have head man Nick Zimmerman, coach. It's like Christmas Day is right around the corner. It's almost here.
It is, and I tell you, the voice that you have is quite exquisite here, I must say. I mean, man, what a radio voice, a face for, the film. You've got it all.
You're too kind. You're too kind, coach. It's nothing compared to the soccer mind you bring to this team and an aggressive style. Last time we spoke right after you were hired, you talked about an attack-minded team. How do you feel like you've been able to instill that mentality in the program through the spring and into fall camp?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great spring for us. Ultimately, we're trying to teach concepts and ideas. The clear identity that was set for us in the spring, players did an incredible job of embracing. We scored, quite a few goals this spring in a lot of different ways. And so, for us, we always talk about being multidimensional, scoring in a lot of different ways. And with the players that we have, the new players coming in, it's been quite exciting to see just in the short amount of time that we've had in the transition period, if you will.
Coach, this schedule, it is as entertaining and fun as they've come. You got some exhibitions against in-state opponents, some big-time names on the home slate, a lot of really great opportunities for Gator fans to pack the Diz.
Yeah, I mean, we would love to have an unbelievable crowd. I mean, a big shout-out to the fans that came this spring. We played on our practice field, and it was lined basically from corner flag to corner flag. So to see the support, and the fans coming out, it was awesome. And obviously, we would love to have that translate now into the fall. And as you said, I mean, the schedule that we have, not just a non-conference, but even conference, it's one that we're going to have a lot of opportunities against some very, very good opponents that, seems or hopefully provides to be some exciting football.
Yeah, it's going to be incredibly exciting to watch this team that has a ton of really high-quality transfers coming in. Of course, many you're familiar with, a Gator team that brings back a lot of production from last year. How do you feel like this group has been able to get such good chemistry coming into the fall?
They've embraced each other. We talked about trust in our first meeting, trusting the players, trusting the staff, trusting each other, and really leaning into that. And, our mission statement, again, is to build transformational relationships. And with that, you have to invest and you have to be vulnerable. And it's been incredible to see the group, obviously embody that all spring. And then, in the short amount of time that we've been together, you can see just the inclusivity of the, the returning players welcoming the new players. And it's great to see. I mean, we had a team event at Coach Carey's over the weekend, water balloon fly, water slide, and just being around each other, the opportunity to fellowship. You can see it's a group that genuinely like to be around each other and one that we're really excited to coach.
Who was coming out on top of the water balloon?
There was a lot of balloons, a lot of things that were getting thrown. Poor Coach Carey's mother-in-law, Barb, got hit a few times opening that front door. So the staff was inside, hiding, but they seemed to have a lot of fun and quite a few balloons were tossed.
Yeah, sounds like a great time. Let's talk about the keepers, because you bring back two really talented keepers, saw a lot of time last year. The group as a whole has done some really good things. What do you like out of that position?
Yeah, I think it's, you have experience in terms of, senior, you've got, Jaden and Paris both, seniors, and then, obviously Paloma is, junior. So you have, you've got experience and you've got, players that have played in some meaningful games. And so, the opportunity every single day to compete and push each other is one. And, Coach Dave has done a great job of challenging that group every single day. And the way that we want to play football is, it's challenging for goalkeepers. You have to be really, confident with your feet. You have to want the ball. You have to be brave. And so, every single day we're continuing to grow in that area. And we're excited that, we have the group that we have.
Coach, as you know, this program has a ton of history, has a ton of expectations, and has a ton of excitement. What are the goals inside the locker room for this team?
Yeah, I mean, one of our mantras, if you will, is progress is winning. And, looking at it every single day is always showing progress. And I actually saw Nick Saban's interview back when he first got hired at Alabama, and expectation was through the roof there. And he actually had a really good quote where it was, can we channel that expectation, but also intertwine it with falling in love with the process of what it means to be an elite program, an elite institution. And so, that's something that we every day are preaching to our group is fall in love with the process. We see a vision, we know where we want to go, we see it as clear as day, but it's also about doing things the right way. We're very, very detail oriented and very, very much into doing things the right way. This isn't just lightning in a bottle and, let's just try and patch something up. We want to do this the right way, but we also want to do it in a way that it's not just, sustainable for a year. This is over time, we want this to be the best program.
Coach, we cannot wait to watch those first steps. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks very much for having me. Appreciate it. Go Gators.